Hello, everyone. So today we're looking at a little bit of standing practice before our Phoenix form, and just a little bit of safety advice. I don't know how you're feeling today, and every day will feel different. So we always have to listen to our bodies. And I'm going to give you extreme scenarios to listen out for that are definite points where your body is saying, please stop. And I want you to listen to your body if you do experience any of these things. So if you get cold sweats, that's a sign your body has had enough. We can stop then. If you're experiencing dizziness, we don't want to let that keep going. So if dizziness occurs, that's enough. You can stop. If you feel a kind of rising heat, which is different from just feeling a general heat in your body. If you feel very, very hot all over your body, that's great, actually. That's a sign that the energy is flowing very well. Sometimes the heat can be extraordinarily strong. That's okay. I notice sometimes ladies sort of in that menopausal stage can experience a massive hot flush. That also is okay. It's not going to do you any damage, and you can persevere. But if it's freaking you out per se, then yes, you can stop, and that's okay. It's always okay to stop. That's fine, but there's certain danger signs, or not danger, but signs that your system is in stress, which is different from just experiencing things that you're not used to experiencing. So heat is fine, a lot of heat is fine, but if you feel a sensation of rising heat coming up your legs, up your back towards the top of your head, I want you to stop before it gets to the top of your head. So even if it's got to your waistline, that's time to rest. Yeah, it can be quite overwhelming then if the heat gets to the top of the head. So we don't want to push that. Also, if you get the sensation that you're going to throw up, that is what we call rebellious chi, and it's time to stop. So, and faintness in general, if you're feeling faint, it's time to stop. So I would put this forward to you in any exercise scenario. Say you're down at the gym and you're getting any of these symptoms, that is a sign that you're overstressing your system and it's time to stop. Otherwise, you will experience a whole bunch of sensations as you do standing practice, or you may do, and it's absolutely fine. You can think of standing practice kind of like an acupuncture session or a deep therapy session, and it's perfectly normal to experience a great number of sensations. You could feel tickling or flowing sensations within your body. You could feel like a pins and needles sensation in your body. You could sometimes feel sharp pain, like between your shoulder blades. I felt that for months, actually, when I was doing long periods of standing practice. These sensations of sharp places suggest that there's little blockages in energy. And actually, if you continue to do your practice, breathe through it, release through it, you are releasing and opening the energy gate so that the energy can flow. So in extreme cases, if you're standing for long periods, or if you're doing a deep stance or intense stance, you may notice a feeling of numbness coming about. And that's actually great. I've only tended, well, I've felt it a little bit on my own, but I tended to feel it after a deep correction with a master. And if you persevere and keep breathing and releasing through it, the numbness turns to heat. And it's when lots of fresh energy are opening new capillaries, new little blood vessels, that you can get intense heat, you can get numbness, and you'll feel afterwards an incredible sensation of strength within that system. So you can experience really rather intense sensations. As I say, most of them are perfectly benign and friendly, but if you experience any of those I've just mentioned, the feeling of going to throw up, faintness, dizziness, cold sweats, anything that your body is really going, stop, then just stop. Don't panic about it. If you stop straight away, gently and slowly, and breathe, within 5 minutes or at the most 10 minutes, your system will be fine again. It's just that indicator of the system being stressed and having had enough. And as long as you stop, that'll be the end of it and you'll be fine. Okay, so it is a powerful and very deep practice. So we need to approach it with respect and understanding and not just blast it and say, well, I want to be good at Tai Chi, so I'm going to keep going. You know, there are times when you need to rest. Okay, folks, up you get, please, and let's have a go at our standing practice. I hope you're hydrated. That's important. Often I have done standing practice first thing in the morning before I've had breakfast. However, you may wish to make sure you have something in your tummy as well, just for that little bit of fuel for this practice. This burns a lot of calories. Let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, pull back the thumb, feet together, hands together, and press forward. Folks, you'll excuse me, and we'll let the cat in. Come on then, good girl. Yeah, that's why I have the window open. Hopefully she'll behave. Okay, a bit of distraction there to test our focus. Good, so we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to lengthen up through the top of the head. The chin slightly down and back. So we'll notice it's all the things that we've been doing in class every day. That is the core of standing practice. Feel the top of the head light, and we're going to take a few moments in Wuji. So basically, we just breathe and listen to the body, letting go, calming down. Allow yourself to release. Release through your system. And listen. Listen behind you. You can feel the space, the air, your clothing resting on your back. Feel into the space behind you. I often picture like a cape of awareness spreading out into the corners and behind me. I'm listening into that area. Listening behind does several things. It quietens the mind. Keep concentrating on what's behind you. It opens your awareness and it helps your energy to sink, to calm. You can stay for as long as you like in Wuji. There's no other instruction for it than lengthening up through the top of the head, calming down and listening behind. There's no action with Wuji. But instead, we will begin to have a sensation of just pure awareness. We're no longer feel confined to the body, but rather we're aware of what's happening inside, what's happening outside. It all becomes awareness. Good. Now from Wuji, we begin our Tai Chi. So we feel into the hands, feel into the fingers, and make sure that the hands are not facing the back of your space, but rather the palms are facing your body. So you may need to very gently rotate the hands around to face you. Gently begin to press the fingers down. And again, just like in Master Locke's work, we're feeling for a sensation of energetic awakening within the hands. So gently, gently press through the layers until you feel the energy drum in your hands. Then we release through the belly, through the hips, and through the knees. You'll feel a kind of resistance and smoothness, very different from just bending your knees. We take the weight into the right, I'm going to mirror for you, and we step up into the left and feed into the center. So at this stage, I would actually encourage you to look down and check that your feet are absolutely level. Good, shoulder width, and then return to your posture again, lengthening up through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back, and we're lengthening those fingers down. So this is your beginning of your Zan Zang practice, your standing practice. Our fingers are still lengthened down. We're going to draw the hands forwards, just shy of the legs, and feel for a connection between the two hands. You may notice it's a very powerful sensation. The hands facing each other, it can almost feel like an iron bar between your hands. That's great if you feel that. You may feel something more soft, more gentle, but feel for that sensation of connection. You can stay there in your standing, and we would tend to do that position when we've been ill or if our energy is low, if we're tired, but we just want to do a little bit of practice. So that's fine, you can stay there. But if you're feeling relatively well and strong, try to keep the sensation of connection as we gradually lift the hands. So we get to belly height. And now what I want you to listen for is a sensation of connection and awareness that your body tells you, yeah, that's the height, that's where I want it to be. So you can stay with belly height, or you can keep going. Remember, we keep the shoulders released and relaxed down to the sides. So the hands are raising, but the shoulders are releasing and hanging open to the sides. You can keep rising. And indeed, if you feel the energy is pushing you to do so, you can expand. So if you keep going, please, I'm going to show you. It can be quite close to you. The elbows will be dropped and relaxed, but you may feel that your energy is pushing your hands out. Now, this tends to happen rarely for me, but the more standing I do, the more I will feel that. Once or twice in my life, I felt my energy pushing out, so I was standing like this. That's rare for me. What I don't want you to do is to hold your arms in any position. And I know this is a subtle difference, but we want to float in the position. So you're letting go through tension. You're not holding it, you're letting it be suspended, like your arms are puppet's arms on strings. You're letting go in the position. So pretty much when I'm just doing an average stand, my hands will be about level with my heart. But there's no right or wrong. You can go as high as your shoulders or stay as low as your hips. Now we check our alignment. So it's a really useful tool to use a mirror or reflective surface. We want to make sure that the head is on straight, that you're lengthening up through the top of the head. The chin is back, as always, but make sure there's no tip or tilt to the head. And this may also mean that the head is glided over to one side. That's a common problem, or common deviation, we should say, and I have it as well. My head pulls to my left, so I have to be careful. Make sure you can imagine that the line drawn down from the top of your head down between the legs. In fact, think of a laser beam coming from the sky all the way down through the center of the head, down through the center of the body, between the two legs, and towards the center of the earth. That's your plumb line. Breathe and release along that line. So you've checked your head is straight. Now we need to check the shoulders. Now, modern living and stress tends to make the shoulders contract and rise. So we want to focus on the shoulders spreading, open to the sides, by letting go, not by pushing, by letting them go, opening to the sides and hanging heavy and down. Feel your shoulder blades, and they should feel slick against your rib cage. So don't let your wing bones stick out. And again, think of it as releasing, like they're chocolate and they're melting and they're sliding down your back and into your back pockets. That's the feeling that we want in the shoulder blades. That's the position that we want with the shoulder girdle. Again, if you're using a mirror, make sure that one shoulder isn't higher than the other. We want them to be level. For a long time, I thought, well, if one shoulder is up, that means that it's pulled up. And thought, right, okay, so you need to work on releasing and relaxing that one down. But actually, I recently worked with a postman who carries a heavy bag, and I realized that the one side that was down was being pulled down by contraction. So if you do notice your shoulders aren't level, breathe into them, feel into them and into your back, and observe, is there tension? Is there pulling? Is one shoulder being pulled up? Or is the other shoulder being pulled down? Or is it both? So as we stand, we're continuously listening, feeling into the body, breathing into the body and letting go. We want those shoulders to continuously melt and flow out to the sides. The blades melt and flow down the back. So they're in line and above the hips. So let's check the posture again. Top of the head is floating up, chin is slightly down and back. We are gazing ahead with focused eyes. The shoulders are level. Let's check the elbows. We want the elbows to feel heavy. Imagine that they're on the armrest of a squashy sofa. We want to sink the elbows into the sofa. We're not holding them, we're letting them go. Feel into the hands, feel into the fingertips. Keep your fingers awake and alive. We want a straight line between the forearm and the wrist and the hands. Just the fingers gently curving in. Keep them awake, keep them alive. Good, keep breathing, you're doing very well. Feel the arms very heavy, very relaxed. They're suspended rather than held. Let's feel into the chest and the upper back. As we breathe, we want the rib cage to sink with each out breath. The rib cage sinks down and slightly back to fill the waist. Feel the rib cage sinking down and back against your spine. So the rib cage should not be protruding forwards. Rather, if you think that as you breathe, you're breathing in all directions, not just forwards. Listen to the rib cage expanding to the sides. Listen to the rib cage actually gently massage your spine with each breath. Expanding into your back as well as forwards. Good, let's feel into the waist. Breathe into your waist, feel all the circle of your waist. Again, feel the three-dimensional breath. Feel the girdle of your waist. And let's feel and look, if you can, with your reflection, to your hips. We want the hips to be level. Again, one may be hitched up. For me, it's my right hip as a hitch that I have to keep working on releasing through. For me, it's sort of internal, inside the hip. I have to keep letting go. So we want to gently guide our body into the perfect alignment, or as best we can. No pushing. If you find tension, breathe into it, let go through it. You can gently nudge the system into better alignment, but if you push, you're introducing tension, so we don't want that. So check the hips are level, the shoulders and the hips are in line. Make sure there's no twists. We're not lifting, bringing a shoulder forwards. And sometimes you'll see this, that the shoulders aren't sitting over the hips. There's a diagonal. So you think of squeezing hip and shoulder until you get a straight line. Again, I have that alignment issue. I have to work on that too. So you'll get to know your own personal deviations that you can work on. Good, let's release, forget about the hips, feel down into the legs. So are you holding tension? As you continue your stand, you'll probably find there are certain muscles that are trying to do the work for you. We want to feel into those muscles, feel into that tension, and as you breathe, release, let it go. You can continuously let go of tension as you do your standing practice. So feel into the legs, into the front, into the back, into the inside edges, into the outside edges. Notice if there's tension. Notice how it feels. And as you breathe, let go. Feel into your knees, all four corners of your knees. Feel into your lower legs. Feel into your ankles. Feel into your feet. Check that your weight is equally distributed across the four corners of both feet. If you're on your heels, that's deviation. If you're sitting only on the fronts of your feet, that's deviation. We want equal distribution. Keep letting go from the top of the head now Draw your awareness down through your whole body, letting go into the feet, into the floor. Master Chen Xiao Wang's guidance for standing practice are two phrases. Calm down and listen behind. So once you have gone through all of this checking, posture, then that's all you need to do. A lot of people feel they need more help. And then you can do all sorts of postural checks. You can check your shoulders are level. You can check your hips are level. You can feel a connection from shoulders to hips. And you can feel a diagonal connection from one shoulder to the other hip. And then the other shoulder to the other hip. You can go through that feeling of connection almost like a little mantra. You can just keep checking, keep letting go. But the more advanced, simply stand, letting go, listening behind. Very good. Let's do 1 minute in silence, and then we'll finish our today's standing practice. Well done. That's very gently and slowly lower the hands down. So you feel a kind of resistance. We don't want to shock the system by dropping the hands. So we go very gently, very slowly, release through the layers. Good. And once your hands are down, give it a moment longer. Keep breathing, keep relaxing. You'll notice you can go a little bit further down. Good. And now let's gather our energy to the center. So this is still part of standing practice. We're gathering in to cover the center. Gentlemen bring their left palm to belly first, traditionally, and ladies bring right palm to belly first. As you're in this position, we're still holding our posture. So we're still in that seated position. The legs are still slightly bent. And you're going to breathe into your center about 9 times. And I say about because it's just a period of time where you're feeling and listening into your center. You can continue to gaze a mile away into the distance, focus, or you can close your eyes and focus more. Either way, you're going to focus down into your belly. With closed eyes, it's more like an X-ray that you're guiding your eyes down towards your center. You're feeling into that sensation. After 9 breaths, we're going to start our circulations. So we're going to the right, up the right, across the top and down to the left. And we do, depending on the number of minutes that we've stood, we do increments. So if you've done a short stand, as we have, 9 circles is enough. 3, 4, 5. And we're circulating the energy in the center as well as rubbing the belly. 8 and 9. Once you've done 9, you change direction. It's important the direction because one way opens the energy up, the other way draws your energy back in. Good. And this is very, very useful for helping digestive transit. Once you've done 9 in each direction, we return to that same posture, hugging the elbows in, breathe into your belly, listen into your belly. 9 breaths. Good. You may notice gurgling, rumbles in your tummy. That's excellent if you experience that. That shows that your parasympathetic nervous system and your vagus nerve are working away and that your system is nice and calm. Well done. Let's release the hands down. We're going to float up through the top of the head. On the in-breath, we're going to fill the right foot, empty the left foot, and close. And there is your standing practice. We recover and heel tap. It's called Zan Zang, and it is the cornerstone. It is the foundation of all Tai Chi. So now I want you to take a few moments to gently move around the room. Give your system a chance to recover and to soften and melt out of your statue-like position. So I would never encourage you to go straight from standing to sitting. It can actually hurt a little bit. You know, the legs have been still for so long, that movement can be quite harsh. But a nice thing to do actually in your stand, at the end of your stand, if you want just a little cherry on the cake, you can do a really slow squat. So when you're still stood there, you can start to think of sliding down a wall. So you're releasing your tailbone under you, and you go all the way down, as slow as you can, thinking of lengthening the top of the head up and bringing the tail down. And once you get all the way down, you don't stay there, you come up as slowly as you can, lengthening up through the top of the head and thinking of keeping the tail hanging down. And then you can go into your either stand for longer or go into your end practice. So that's a really nice practice, but you do have to be careful not to let your knees go forwards. You're really sitting back as you slide down. Okay, folks, so that is a whirlwind tour of your standing practice. As I say, you could experience all sorts of weird and wonderful sensations. Sometimes you'll go into a kind of shake, you know, your leg muscles will just start shaking. Maybe not in the high position, but you can go as deep as you like. Deep stance is more martial. It's to build strength and stamina, endurance. High stance is more for health practice, just to generally get all your systems in line and working together harmoniously. I hope you have enjoyed standing practice. It's a bit of a Marmite practice. People either love it or hate it. If you keep doing it, you may grow to love it. I hope you do. I did. It took me a while. I did it because I wanted to do it, but I didn't really enjoy it. And as time went on, years went by, I started to go, do you know what, this is all right. And I went from there to going, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Once you start to feel the huge benefits that can come, you'll be hooked. It'll make you want to do it. Okay, so we better do a bit of Phoenix now. And it's really good after standing practice to do some form because you'll feel a difference in your form. So let's see how we feel now. So let's come together, please, for some Phoenix in graceful clouds of blessing. Heels together, lengthening up through the top of the head, chin slightly down and back. Take a deep breath and again sigh. Tension away. Ready. Press the fingers to the floor and we begin. Good. Let's go again, please. So we mentioned last week, I want you to focus a mile away. Don't just look at the wall. It's good that your eyes are focused if they're focused, but look through the wall or through the window. Look a mile away. And it's quite nice to kind of visualize. You might not notice, you might not know what the landscape looks like through the wall. It doesn't matter. Just think of that looking out onto a beautiful horizon. I don't know how your imagination works, but it really helps that feeling of looking into the distance, even if it is just, desert, horizon, sky. Give it that feeling of I am piercing through to the distance, and it changes the energy and it changes the feel. Okay, let's go again. Lengthening up, relaxing down. Press the fingers into the earth and breathe. Very good. Can you feel how the standing practice has affected your form? It brings our body awareness naturally more into line of alignment. Our body naturally goes, this is where I should be, without you having to constantly think and position your body into the shape of alignment. It's naturally already there, or is more familiar with the correct positioning. The longer you stand, the more potent that body memory of alignment will be, to the point that you don't have to think of it hardly at all. A slight check and you're done and you can move on. Without standing practice, we're continuously adding to our load of things to remember by checking posture and just not feeling quite right and not knowing why. Standing practice sorts that out for you. So we're going to do it one more time. I'm going to do the movements facing you, and hopefully that will help with any confusion over hand positions. But again, I want you to begin checking your posture. We'll take it nice and slow. Every so often, just check, how is your alignment? Do you feel everything connected? Try to soften into it. So we're not wanting to add tension, but just let our awareness touch like a butterfly on posture and then away again, back into the form. Let's see, can we make that connection in our minds? Standing practice equals better form. All right, let's try again. Ready? Check posture. Release, relax down through the body. Pressing gently with the fingers into the floor. Left side, right side. Relaxing to center. Check posture. Oh, I notice my right shoulder does a funny wee thing. So every day is a school day. And relax down and twist. Very well done. Excellent. And little heel tap. So as I said, sometimes you will notice doing standing practice or having done standing practice, your legs might actually go into little convulsions. In fact, your whole body might do little sort of jiggly convulsions or tremor. This is not one of those danger signs that we talked about that means stop. It just means that there's a bit of fatigue and possibly the energy isn't flowing so harmoniously. And this is what happens if you have a lot of energy flowing when you're not used to it. Think of waves. So if two waves come together at a peak, they make a double the height of a wave. Whereas one wave, if it's going up and the other wave is going down and they hit each other, they neutralize each other. So when our energy is fully flowing harmoniously, everything will be nice and smooth. Whereas if you're working hard and you're not used to working that hard, your energy is bigger and stronger, but is maybe not quite come into harmony, and you get these exaggerated wobbly movements. So it is absolutely nothing to worry about. It is something that if you continue to release and breathe through, either in standing practice or in form, it will reduce down. I have a tremor that is there most of the time, but it's just part and parcel of my physical makeup. And doing Tai Chi often will help reduce the tremor. Sometimes it makes it worse. And that's fine. It just means that the system isn't quite in the harmony that I'm looking for. But as I keep practicing, it finds its balance and reduces down again. So this exercise, standing practice, is brilliant for people with the likes of Parkinson's or any kind of nerve produced shaking. It can really help with that. And if you don't have those problems and you find yourself shaking, no problem. It's just that you're working. And well done, you've worked very hard. I hope you feel that your standing practice is good, hard work. It burns calories, it keeps you fit, it helps your entire system. It is a complete practice in itself. So welcome to the world of standing. I hope you have enjoyed your practice today. I'd like you to take 10 minutes to gently walk around now. If it's warm enough, go outside and have a walk around to fully warm down. Have a nice hot drink and enjoy the rest of your day. Let's salute, please. Right hand in fist, straight together, forwards. Thank you.